Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Lampworking 102.5. Today I have a really beautiful pattern to share with you all. It's so simple and it just reminds me of marbled paper. All you are going to need is some twisted cane. So this is perfect for if you want to practice with all of your scrap cane laying around. You're going to get something unique and different every time. So without further ado, let's get right into this. And as always, I hope you're all doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time in the dungeon. Okay, so I am just going to show you guys how I made the cane for this specific bead, but you can use any cane that you have laying around. This is a fairly simple bead, but it's perfect for all of your scrap twisties. And no matter how big or thick or thin the cane is, you will apply it the same way. So I'm going to start out with my cane by building up and heating up a whole bunch of clear glass. And this is just my inside base. I could have used white or black if I wanted to. But since you're not going to see the inside and most of the cane I'm going to add is opaque, then I just opted for the clear. Either way, I'm just going to pop it in my marble mold right there and kind of give it a tug, push down into it to get my preliminary shape, and roll it out a little bit because I'm looking for more of a barrel shape right here. It'll be easier for me to lay the cane down or the color down when I'm ready. And I'll just pull a little bit of that clear down over the punty just to make that bottom part more even. All right, so the first color I'm going to start out with is this nice bright red, and I'm going to lay it down twice on opposite sides. And I'm not really worried about being perfect at all. I'm just going to kind of slop it on there and continue. So the next color I'm going to use here is a pink bubblegum. I love this color. And I'm just butting it up right next to that red. And I'm going to do that on both sides as well. And I'm just going to repeat this with two other shades of purple and pink. And this is just a purple that I had laying around. I was lucky to find it. And I'm just going to lay that down, but leave a little bit of room because I'm going to add a black stripe there later on. And I'm going to build that color up a couple times. And next to that one, I can't remember the name of this one, but everything will be written down in the description below. This is kind of like an evil purple. And I will end up covering this up with the wisteria there so it doesn't get weird on me, because it's on the surface. So in between everything, I'm going to add black, and the black is going to act as my darkest purple, because when you pull black out, it gets really thin, and the effetry black is just a very, very dark purple. Add that on there and cover that last bit up. I love to make just random cane like this. I have a pile of it right now, just building and building. But there's something so fascinating to me about cane. And there's so many different ways to use it. I'm still, experimenting and finding out new ways to play around with these canes. But I really thought that this looked so much like marbled paper in the end, hence the title that I figured this is my marbleizing cane. So right there, I just wanted to pull all of that color down towards the mandrel. I'm not going to put this on another punty over there because it really doesn't matter in the long run, but it does matter that the colors are close to the bottom. And on this other side, I'm going to heat the top up, squeeze all those colors together, pinch them off until the other colors get close to the end. And then I'll just start heating everything up and melting it down so the pattern is all smooth. Okay, so I'm getting close to want to, get my other punty on there. I'm just gonna shape it up a little bit more into kind of a football shape. It just makes it easier for me to pull it out this way. All right, so I'm gonna get my punty nice and hot and heat the tip of that glass up a little bit and just put that punty right in there in the center. I always like to roll it out right here just to kind of pull it up around and clean it up on the mandrel. All right, and now at this point, I almost pulled this out into a straight cane, but at the last minute I gave it a twist just to make it even more interesting. But either way, like I said, whatever cane you want to use, it's going to really look great. I hope. All right, so this is my final twist, and I'm just going to go ahead and start to pull this out. And it got a little bit hot for me, so I pulled away from my bench for a second as I pulled and pulled. This was quite a bit of cane here, but it really looked beautiful, and I can't wait to use it. So I'm going to let that cool down for a second. And as it cools, then you start to see those really pretty bright reds show up in the cane. And now we're ready to make the bead. And the bead can be any color that you want it to be. I just started out with this kind of a minty green. It's a Marmo Verde. And I'm just going to start out by heating it up and laying it down and just twisting it up on my mandrel. Always making sure that where I am about to lay it down is getting nice and hot so you don't have any bubbles popping up to the surface. And like always, if you do, just go ahead and heat them up and move on. So I'm just going to heat my bead up here and start to work on just the preliminary shaping and get my edges looking nice and even. And I'm going to put a clear on top of this. I don't know why, I just could have added more of this. If your pattern doesn't butt up next to itself at the very end, then you might see a little color, little base color showing through. So I thought it'd be nice to have like a just a contrasting color. I guess that's why I chose this one. Anyway, so once you have this preliminary shape down, you're going to add your second coating of whatever. So this time I'm just going to coat it in clear, and I'm going to do my swiping method to encase the color in. So I'm just going to get some clear glass hot into a nice ball and go from the top to the bottom, swiping down as I go and making sure that I'm always overlapping every time. And then from there, I will go ahead and start heating all of that up and just incorporating it and melting it into the base bead, and as always, working out my edges. And then you have basically, this is your shape that you're going to add all your pattern to. So now we get to play with some of this cane that we have. And I'm just going to do this in a kind of a snake-like pattern up and down the whole bead. And I'm just going to start by placing it at one end and very gently, especially if you have thick cane like this, you want to very gently heat it up as you go. So, laying this pattern down may take you several minutes. So once you have this first bit laid down, you want to gently heat it up and make sure it's not going to crack on you later. Make sure you have it stuck to the bead, and then you're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do this on all four sides, and you can vary this any way you want. You could maybe make these much longer back and forth movements. Maybe you go in the opposite direction of the way I'm going. It's just one of those really interesting kind of ways to use cane that's not just laying them down in stripes. Plus it gives just this amazing marbled effect that I love. Okay, so if this happens to you and you break your cane, then just heat up the end of it and grab it with the cool part of your cane and keep going. Don't worry about it, because this is an overall kind of random, but not random. I mean, it's a repetitive pattern that we're making here, but little mistakes like that you won't even notice. It'll just enhance it, if anything. So here at the end, in this little tiny area I have here, I'm just going to squiggle a little bit more down. Like this whole segment right here probably took about 7 or 8 minutes to lay all of this pattern down. And you want to make sure you have enough cane to, squeeze down into this pattern. So this next bit is all about pushing this pattern down and out, so the background doesn't show. So this is like really important, I thought, for this bead. So it took me about 10 minutes or so to gently push and heat this pattern down. And it's going to give you the best effect in the long run if you take your time doing this slowly. So I'll just heat in the center and kind of like work it down. Once I have everything worked down and I'm comfortable rolling it, I'll start to roll it out a little bit in the center, a little bit more next to the center, and then a little bit more on the edge, and just continue to work your way down on both sides. And I'll work those edges in just a little bit with the butter knife, and just slowly pull those in until they're nice and smooth with the base bead. Just a little bit. Be careful not to scrape the bead release there. And then it's getting nice and low, and that pattern is really kind of pushing up to itself now all around. And from there, we're going to continue to heat. And, it takes time. It takes time to get there. But slowly but surely, we're getting into the pattern, or not the pattern, but the shape that I want to be in, so I can give this another coating of clear. And you don't have to give it this final coating of clear if you don't want to. You can finish your bead off right here by just, tapering those edges in a little bit. This is, of course, a really nice way to finish off your bead, is to bring that pattern to as close to the mandrel as you can, and then give it a nice warm heat. And at this point, you could be done. But I'm not. I'm going to keep going and add my clear on top, which I just think gives it just a bit more depth. I'm not going to add 2 layers. I just want to add the 1 layer of clear, and that's it. So anyway, of course, I'm going to heat up my clear glass. I am using a 7 to 8 millimeter rod here. I'd like a thicker, larger rod on these larger beads, and it's easier to get the amount you need to swipe down on each layer. And I'm always making sure that I overlap as I go, and swiping in any areas that I think might need a little bit more glass. And once I'm done there, I'll just start to heat up my edges and soften everything. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to take my little paddle there and start to smooth out those ends. And from there, it's just pretty much just heating and smoothing and rounding everything out into a really nice, the shape of the bead is very simple, but it really just enhances the beauty of the pattern. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to finish rounding this out. And I wanted to let you know, in the very end, I show you another bead with a different pattern altogether of colors. And the cane was thinner, and it came out so cool looking. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this one and give it a try. I just love the way this came out. I hope you guys enjoy playing around with this pattern and design. And on that note, I'll see you all next time in the dungeon.